Hello friends, good afternoon. This is your friend Truly Shoham. A warm welcome to my YouTube channel. From today onwards for the next 10 weeks, we are going to discuss about 10 movies week on week which did not get its due during its release, which were experimental and were heralded by big stars and big banners all during its lifetime and were undervalued, underappreciated and somehow rejected by the audiences and the critics alike during its release. But later, years to go by were hailed as cult classics and hailed as very important movies of our times. So we shall begin the discussion today among the 10 movies by discussing about Jagga Jasoos, Anurag Basu's 2017 musical action adventure. What worked for the film, what were the brilliant aspects of the film, what were the underwhelming aspects of the film, and also trying to discuss about what caused the film to bomb so badly at the box office and were rejected by the critics and the audiences alike. Why did it happen? Before starting the discussion, just one request. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And don't forget to click the bell icon so that you do not miss an update. So, let us start the discussion today, shall we? Let's start. Jagga Jasoos is about a young boy named Jagga who stammers and stutters, uses music to express himself via songs. The film is about the journey, the quest for his long lost father, and how a young journalist helps him in this journey, and how Jagga, being also a small time sleuth, ends up solving very important cases and busting illegal arms trade and other deals to save the entire world with the help of the young journalist via the film course of time. And also, this forms the core of the film, the crux of the story of the film. The film stars Ranbir Kapoor as Jagga, the young boy, Katrina Kaif as the young journalist Shruti Sen Gupta, Shashwata Chatterjee as Jagga's father, lost father, Tutti Frutti aka Badal Bagchi, and Saurabh Shukla in a very interesting role, investigating officer Sinha, who is after Jagga due to unanimous reason. These are the four pivotal characters of the film. Now, the brilliant aspect of the film. Let us begin the discussion first by saying, first and foremost, categorizing Jagga Jasoos as just a good or bad piece of cinema will be sheer injustice to this magnanimous talent, the opulence, the majesticity on screen, the labor of love that Anurag Basu has brought on screen in Jagga Jasoos. You have to watch the film to understand what I'm trying to say. There is poetry transcending beauty in every frame of the film. Jagga Jasoos is a musical piece of cinema in its truest possible term. The Broadway, the Walt Disney School of Musical, not the musical which Bollywood wants us to believe and insults on our senses every Friday, almost majority of Friday. Jagga Jasoos is cinema. The inspirations of the film varies from Fiddlers on the Roof, My Fair Lady, La La Land, the film Oscar-winning film Amelie, Martin Scorsese's Hugo, and many other. Throughout this film, Anurag Basu, the director of the film, pays homage to Satyajit Ray, Wes Anderson, Chaplin, Buster Keaton, Tintin, and many others. And despite of so many homages, inspirations on screen, the best part is Anurag Basu never loses grip on his original voice. Jagga Jasoos is painstakingly written an original piece of cinema right from the first frame to its last frame. End of the discussion regarding the brilliance of the film in this part, the storyboard and the other part. The technical brilliance of the film. Jagga Jasoos has heavenly cinematography, surreal cinematography by Mr. S. Ravi Verman. The editing, the production, designing is of international world-class standard. Pritam Da, the music director of the film, Pritam Chakraborty, the lyricist Amitabh Bhattacharya, who also acts as the screenwriter of the film, has done an excellent, stupendous job. They've outdone themselves, I would say. This is a musical. Music is the backbone of the film. So I'm sure when Anurag Basu wrote this film, the music became first and the story was interwoven around music. So one false note, the entire story of the film will fall apart. And how excellently Pritam and Amitabh Bhattacharya have taken over this challenge and outdone themselves. The performances. Shashwata Chatterjee as Jagga's father, Tutti Frutti aka Badal Bagchi, is outstanding, magnificent in its truest possible term. Saurabh Shukla, as I told at the beginning, has a very interesting character. Investigating officer Sinha, he is funny, quirky, and brilliantly effective. Even Katrina Kaif, who plays Shruti Sen Gupta, the journalist, who is otherwise a limited actor, does a very decent job of supporting the other cast members, and a fairly decent job, I would say. Now the lead. Ranbir Kapoor, without an iota of doubt, is one of the finest actors this country has ever produced. We discuss about nepotism and all these things, but he is an actor, despite of nepotism, despite of coming from the film family, is one of the finest performers of our times. Watch this film to understand what I'm trying to say. This character cannot speak properly. He stammers and stutters while speaking, so he expresses himself via music. Anybody who understands and the nuances of acting will tell you this Broadway school of physical acting, the Walt Disney school of physical acting, is one of the toughest jobs to pull off. And Ranbir does that with such magnificent panache. Only he could do that, no one else. This character is funny without being caricaturish. This character never goes overboard, so that does not hit you below the belt. That's the best part of Ranbir Kapoor in this movie. So the inevitable question is, despite of so many transcending beautiful things going on in the movie, what stops the film from becoming a successful film at the domestic box office? What caused the film to be lambasted by the critics and the audiences alike during its release? We're going to discuss that right now, and I have divided the answer to that question which we have in just four very crucial pointers. The first part, the puerile, backward nature of the audiences. Satyajit Ray once in an interview to a celebrated French journalist had once opined that the Indian film going audience in general is a very puerile and backward audience. He could not have been more right in this scenario, in present Hindi cinema scenario. We are a country where a film like Happy New Year, which is a disgrace to the world of cinema, becomes a blockbuster, whereas from the same actor, fan does not find an audience. Tamasha finds very hard to pull audiences to cinema, whereas Baghi series becomes a blockbuster. Dabang 1 and 2 become celebrated by the Bhai's fans, but Guzarish does not find any takers. So for that society, for that school of audience which celebrates mediocrity over raw and original talent, how do you expect to understand the flight of fancy, the leap of faith, the audacious magic realism that director wants us to transport us into that world to? It is impossible. So the result is in front of us. Secondly, the critics, the uneducated critics who do not have an idea what good cinema is. Any out of the box thinking, anybody who tries to curve his own niche to the world of cinema, they are branded and compartmentalized as some sort of terms and terminology only critics understand, no one else. The same critics who had hailed La La Land as a masterpiece lambasted Jagga Jasoos for having an incoherent screenplay and a shoddy storyboard. Can you beat that? No, because that is idiocy. Third, and also another very important part, that is over budgeting of the film and probably trying to say too many things in a very short span of time, juggling of too many genres at one go. The film took 3.5 years to make, causing the budget of the film to shoot sky high. And this was an experimental film in all aspects. So when you are experimenting, and this kind of radically experimental film when the budget is sky high, it becomes very difficult to recover the initial budget of the movie, unfortunately, despite of its such brilliance on film. And also, too much wait time for a film somehow kills and dilutes the overall interest of the film, no matter how great the film is. Now, another important part, for someone eccentric genius like Mr. Anurag Basu, madcap genius like Anurag Basu, it is very difficult to somehow say no to his passion project and still retain the brilliance of the film, retain the essence of the film. Probably a more ruthless producer would have said that, but not Mr. Ranbir Kapoor. Especially in the second half, when the director tries to pull off a musical, action, adventure, multiple genre of sorts, somehow you get the feeling that the film becomes tonally all over the place. If not in totality, but somehow a bit. That's also a deterrent for the film, I would say. And the most important part, that is the underwhelming aspect, I would say, that is it becomes the biggest strength of the film becomes its biggest weakness. Why I say so? You get the feeling that director has too many plot points, too many symbolism, too many forms to juggle with, but the content is getting overstuffed. It is becoming a bit in your face. Why I tell so? The film begins with the Purulia arms drop case, the infamous Purulia arms drop case that made its headline during its time in 1995. From there, it goes to the illegal arms dealing case in the Northeast, in Manipur especially, via the Tintin form of comic book style adaptation. From there, it questions our collective apathy, collective lack of awareness, a collective, what would I say, carelessness towards whatever is happening in our society via Badal Sarkar's street theatre form. From there, it goes to Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, to Burma, to a two-headed villain named Bashir Alexander, and whatnot. So, despite of the brilliance and the charisma and such sweat and such hard work and passion this palpable on screen, you just get a feeling that probably the director is trying to chew much more than what he can digest, and the audiences are getting overstuffed. Somehow you get the feeling. But again, despite of a few shortcomings here and there, would I still not recommend Jagga Jasoos? Please go and rewatch, revisit the film. This kind of movies needs your active support. The film is available in Netflix. Watch the film, support these films, and please support filmmakers and producers who are trying to push the bar for mainstream Hindi cinema. So before I end this discussion, thank you so much for being so patient listening to my video and my offering today. On next week, we shall discuss upon another film which was underappreciated, undervalued, and somehow received a lukewarm response from the critics in general, and was not a super hit at the box office, but somehow recovered its money from here and there. The Varun Dhawan starrer, Shuri Sarkar directed October. We'll discuss about that film next week. Till then, bye bye. Have a good day. Have a better future for our country, and also stay safe, stay indoors, more when we meet. This is Shoham Ganguly, truly Shoham, signing out for the day. Bye bye. Thank you so much.